LEMMiNO. Alright, who the fuck is LEMMiNO? 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 LEMMiNO. 2 M's. LEMMiNO. The fuck is this? Consumed by the apocalypse.
Just let me know.
Alright. I never heard of this guy. Who is this?
Of all the species to have ever lived, all but a tiny fraction have gone extinct. At some point in the future, the same fate will befall humanity. It may take centuries, it might take eons, but extinction is unavoidable.
Is eon 10,000 years?
The future is fraught with uncertainty, and the apocalypse never seems too far away.
What is an eon? I don't know what that is. Yes? Century, millennium, and then I don't know what comes afterwards, I just assume eon. Eon is millions. Eon is billions?
Nearly 800,000 years ago, an approximately 1 kilometer wide asteroid collided with Earth. The crater has yet to be located, but fragments from the impact have been found scattered across the eastern hemisphere, an expansive strewn field that covers up to 30% of the planet's surface. Our distant ancestors were not only alive
How can they
to
not
witness
locate
event,
this?
but managed to adapt and survive. Impacts of this magnitude occur roughly once every 500,000 to 2 million years. More devastating impacts, like the one that nearly wiped out the dinosaurs, are far less frequent. Possibly striking once every 100 million years. Whether a collision of this magnitude is survivable is a matter of debate.
I wonder how big this one was when it actually hit the surface of Earth, though, not the atmosphere, but the surface of Earth. You think it cannot have been as big as Mount Everest when it actually landed, right? No, the 10 kilometers was outside of the surface, right? But it like burns up and shit when it enters the atmosphere. Or maybe it stays roughly the same. I don't know how much it matters.
The kinetic energy released upon impact would be equivalent to the simultaneous detonation of billions of atomic bombs. Those who survived the initial blast would be subjected to unrelenting earthquakes, firestorms, and tsunamis.
Why
a thick
though?
layer of smoke and dust would quickly envelop the globe.
10 kilometers is such a small object. Like,
an impact window
sure, it's
that could
a
last
little bit
for months
bigger than Mount Everest,
or even years.
But for the whole Earth, it's so
freezing
weird.
cold, and global famine would throw the world into chaos.
If you think about it, it is weird.
In spite of this, long-term survival is not inconceivable.
It's traveling fast,
Small pockets of humanity may take refuge underground and would at least be given a chance to rebuild civilization. But make no mistake, it would be a close call. The survivability of an impact also depends on how much time we have to prepare. More than 90% of nearby asteroids and comets larger than 1 kilometer have already been detected. If one of them were on a collision course with Earth, we'd know for decades or even centuries in advance. But this was not always the case. In 1983, a 9-kilometer wide comet was only spotted 2 weeks prior to its closest approach. That's 2 weeks of preparation had it been aiming for Earth.
Hey, but one more question, alright? So they can predict all the fucking things that are flying around, but are they also calculating what if this one hits this one, which creates a trajectory towards Earth, like the collision of two other third-party ones, you know what I mean? But how many fucking calculations is that? That's like infinite amount of calculations. Because what if the third party hit another one that's over here, and then that one hits the Earth? You know what I mean? Like collision, third party collision into third party collision. You know, it goes on and on. You know what I mean? You can calculate that theoretically, but are we?
While things have significantly improved since 1983, space is impossibly vast. In 2019, an asteroid capable of leveling a city was detected a day before it flew 5 times closer to the Earth than the Moon. While the odds of an extinction-level collision are remote, it's not impossible.
Oh, I think I heard about this one.
There is a class of objects known as Damocloids. Damocloids are typified by their highly eccentric orbits and low reflectivity, meaning they periodically pay us a visit and are extremely difficult to detect. We're currently tracking about 200, but there could be hundreds more tumbling through the solar system. Damocloids are, on average, 16 kilometers wide. If one of them were on a collision course with Earth, there might not be any warning.
Just jump before it hits.
When massive stars die,
just fly into space and then come back.
If a star went supernova within 30 light years of Earth, it would be cause for concern.
Yeah, this sounds really unnecessary.
Fortunately, more than 90% of the stars within this bubble have already been discovered, none of which are at risk of exploding anytime soon. But some supernovae can still pose a threat from thousands of light years away. It's a gamma-ray burst, produced by only the most violent explosions in the universe. Instead of a spherical blast, a gamma-ray burst will channel the explosion into 2 highly concentrated beams. More energy is released in a few seconds than the sun will radiate in its entire lifetime. The biological effects of a nearby supernova or gamma-ray burst are poorly understood. We do know that the atmosphere would absorb much of the high-energy radiation, but this may also strip the Earth of its protective layer of ozone. If so, harmful levels of ultraviolet radiation from the sun would penetrate down to the surface. Certain chemical reactions may also darken the sky and induce global cooling, a cosmic winter of sorts. This could last for years and would be lethal to many plants and animals.
Take that,
in fact, a gamma-ray burst might be responsible for a mass extinction that killed roughly 70% of all marine species nearly 500 million years ago. Now, humanity could easily protect itself against ultraviolet sun rays, but living through a mass extinction would not be a pleasant experience. While some authors have painted a far bleaker image, with one hemisphere effectively sterilized by intense radiation, these findings have been contested in recent years. The latest research...
Hey, what if these things happen all the time? What if all these, what if shit is in our trajectory and all these supernovas and we get all these gamma rays all the time, but we're actually protected by 4-dimensional aliens? We're like the ant farm, the pet project of fucking 4-dimensional beings, and they're just protecting us before we even know, it's coming for us. They're far away, they're just watching us. But they didn't care about dinosaurs because dinosaurs are fucking stupid, But now we're like, oh, okay, maybe we should protect Earth. That's why nothing has happened since humans arrived. We're smart.
As the primary threat. Nevertheless, a gamma ray burst sniping the Earth from across the galaxy.
The most
is
violent
extremely
explosion was in
improbable.
my bathroom yesterday after I ate 3 tacos with extra cheese and onions.
Only 3? What are you, a fucking infant?
All of them have so
see me
far
order
been
fucking
extragalactic in origin, much too
quesadillas,
distant
dude.
to pose a threat.
Fucking American size.
While there are a few potential
Any
candidates
infinite,
within the Milky Way, none of them appear to be directed at Earth. Apart from impact events and stellar explosions, the foreseeable future is free of cosmic threats. Other eventualities are either too improbable or won't happen for millions of years. Ample time for us to prepare, other calamities permitting. Around 74,000 years ago, a large volcano erupted in Southeast Asia. It is the most powerful volcanic eruption in human history. For up to 2 weeks, it spewed enormous quantities of ash and dust into the atmosphere, enough to block out the sun and potentially cool the planet. A volcanic winter. But there's great uncertainty about the effects of the eruption on both the climate and humanity.
Oh, is this the guy? Is this the
It
conspiracy theory guy? The he's Swedish, right? The one with the fucking footage that we saw from the
In either case, this is good
drones
news.
or whatever.
It means that supervolcanic eruptions pose little to no threat to human existence. After all, if early humans stood a chance, then so should we. But there is something even more destructive than supervolcanic eruptions. It's known as a flood basalt event.
Basalt! That's how you pronounce
occurred
it.
250 million years ago. An enormous outpouring of molten rock covered a region of Siberia the size of Europe.
Not bath salt.
And it just so happens to coincide with the deadliest mass extinction in history. The good news is,
60% of marine genera and 80% of marine species went extinct.
The basalt events are both rare and slow.
80% of marine species? I thought you haven't even found 80% of marine species. How the fuck do you know?
Instead of a singular event, it's a series of eruptions taking place over thousands or even millions of years. As such, even if one began
80% of the ones we found?
it
Yeah,
might
then
just
say
be
that.
slow enough
Say
for
known.
us to adapt and survive.
Motherfuckers. His statement was wrong. Wrong!
Throughout the centuries, pandemics have exacted a heavy toll on humankind. Among the worst was the Black Death. In less than a decade, it killed between 25 and 60% of the European population. The total death count is unknown, at least tens of millions. The Colombian exchange of diseases and the Spanish flu claimed the lives of many millions more. The tragedy of these pandemics and epidemics notwithstanding, they never came close to extinction. None of them killed more than a few percent of the global population. For instance, the Spanish flu infected nearly 1/3 of humanity.
How can we only... What is this? 17 to 100 million? Estimates vary greatly? Just 100 years ago, we can't get a better estimate than 17 to 100 million? What?
Yet the vast majority of cases did not result in death.
I thought people were throwing those numbers left and right.
Kills every single member of a species
Corona.
is difficult to imagine. In fact, there are very few examples of infectious disease driving a species to extinction.
That makes sense.
With that
This
being said,
video should be
it's not
called All
inconceivable.
the Possible Things That Could Happen in Time Before Forsen Beats Excusing. Feels bad man.
Shut your filthy whore mouth.
For instance,
I'm watching the video.
pathogens that can pass between multiple species can be far deadlier than those limited to just one. The H5N1 avian influenza, also known as the bird flu, is one such virus. So far, it's transmissible between humans and birds, but it can't sustainably spread among humans. However, laboratory experiments have shown that it may eventually acquire this ability through natural mutations. If so, it could easily become the worst pandemic in human history. But even this horrifying proposition does not come close to extinction. In a worst-case scenario, most of humanity would still survive. Pandemics are complicated. It's a topic that's more relevant now than ever before and cannot possibly be done justice in a few short minutes. But in the narrow context of human extinction, it seems unlikely for nature to stumble upon that perfect storm. Apart from volcanic eruptions and natural pandemics, the Earth has no inherent means of eradicating the human race. No other form of natural calamity is powerful enough to threaten our existence. As such, the most immediate threat to humanity has for a long time been, and continues to be,
Ourselves.
humanity.
Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Force. Watching this video made me self-reflect on my life. Too late to explore the world and uncover its secrets. Too early to explore the universe.
Yeah, go on. Why the fuck did it stop reading? And its infiniteness, although I'm just in time to watch you throw every Minecraft seed. Why the fuck did it just stop?
What word did it stop on? I'm curious, because sometimes people do like weird symbols that fuck it up, but you didn't do anything. Too early to explore in the universe. I have no idea, dude. Why the fuck that happened? I have no idea, dude.
While nature may struggle to devise a world-ending pandemic, it may not have to. Biotechnology has now advanced to a point where we can engineer pathogens in a laboratory. While this can greatly benefit our understanding and treatment of infectious diseases, it's not without risk. Accidental breaches of containment have happened on multiple occasions, and these experiments are not always conducted in the name of science. These engineered microbes are concerning because their destructive potential far exceeds that of their natural counterparts. They can be deadlier, more transmissible, and less treatable. And the rapid pace of technological progress is constantly lowering the threshold for bioengineering.
His biggest concern was, he said it in so many words, that a small group of dedicated scientists could create an altered biological agent that could wipe out humanity as we know it.
Technically speaking, you can do almost anything with a microbe. The real question is, will you end up with a microbe that functionally will do the things that the concerned person at your hearing said, namely, essentially wipe out everyone from the face of the earth? Again, that's conceivable, although it's inconceivable, but it is, in fact, anything is possible. It would be very, very difficult to do that, extraordinarily difficult, even in the best of hands, to not only do the engineering to get a microbe that has the characteristics, but be able to spread in a way in which it has virulence, transmissibility, and the ability to go in a sustained, transmissible way. Not impossible, but very, very difficult to do.
Very difficult to do. Doesn't sound reassuring enough for me. People do very difficult stuff all the time. Fuck. He
A
has to
nuclear
stop with this tinnitus
holocaust
shit.
is among the most infamous doomsday scenarios. Since the end of World War II, we have on numerous occasions been driven to the brink of nuclear conflict, sometimes by accident, sometimes by very intentional brinkmanship. The nuclear stockpile currently stands at more than 13,000 warheads.
Alright, this is not interesting to me.
Which are owned by Russia and
I've seen so many videos on fucking nuclear power and shit, and it's not a very realistic scenario for a wipe of humanity. Steak, thank you for the 3 years, man. Can you tickle my beard instead of fisting me? No, what the fuck? No special treatment, mods. 69 Dunger Swag, FBI part of Antrader, and a penguin stand. Thank you, boys.
You lost to rats. True, I guess. But the you did not even exist then, or even for 100 years after. In a history, by the way. Oh my God.
In a history, by the way.
Oh my God. In a history. Oh my God. In a history. Oh. In a history. Oh my God.